All right, welcome once again. Good day. So this should be my last video for the day, and yeah, that's for today. All right. So okay, so welcome again to another video. I will continue another video after this, probably next week, because of I have to attend to some other things. Right. So, but that being said, welcome to this video. And in the last video, we started by doing some outlines for the walls and the doors, windows, and stuff like that. So in this video, we're just going to look at the elevations and try to push pull the walls and create our door holes and window holes, right? So without so much explanation, I would like to jump into the model, right? So I just grab my references and I'll just make that a group and just leave that as refs, right? So for the other things, I wouldn't need to put them somewhere else. I just need to look. All right, so what I do need now is to know the height. So I'll have to go to the section, right? So this is why we learn sections, right? So the height of the average room space is from the foundation level, right? So this is the foundation level, right? So this is the substructure. This is referred to as substructure, and then from everything from this line up is your superstructure, right up to the roof. All right. So from the superstructure up, we have the height of the room to be 3150. That's going to be the height of each wall. Then upon that, we'll now sit the floor, right? So that being said, what that would mean, it will mean that if I'm doing my external walls, yeah. All right, so let's go. Let's continue, right? So I'll start from my ground floor. This is my ground floor. So we have the walls, right? So this is the height, right? This is the height. So, but let's also look at the elevation, because the elevation is important, all right? So we can see what's going on here in the veranda. Yeah, we can tell that this part doesn't go all the way up. You can tell how it ends in the floor. For this side, it goes all the way up. This one is kind of like a carve out, right? It's like a profile kind of carve out thing, all right? So, but we'll attend to that just briefly. All right, so let's go ahead and take our push pull tool. We'll go into our group and take our push pull tool and we'll start pushing things up by 3115, right? That's just that. All right, so undo. Sorry, my bad. All right, so you see how I just double click to push pull it the same length and the same width. All right, so the last push pull activity you did, it will just can't pull smooth or curved surfaces. What do you mean by that? Did I make that surface smooth or curved by mistake? All right, it seems I might have done something there. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and delete that and redraw that. I think I made it a smooth surface, a smooth face. So I'm just gonna, I hope I can't push through this, right? So I'm just gonna erase that and redraw that, right? So I can now push pull this by the height. Now this is not a wall here, this is just, so I'm just gonna go ahead and remove this. And I'm going to go ahead and pick this up. So here's what I will do here, right? This part, I'll make it go up this length, right? Then this front part, I'm just going to go ahead and pick that. Make that a group separate from the floor plan, right? So I did that because it goes up but doesn't go all the way through. So that's going to go there, yeah. But when you look at the what do you call it, it's now going to curve so much to, so I'm going to go up by 150, and then I'm just going to go ahead and push that through, right? You see these simple shapes, how it's beginning to make sense when you are using it for viewing. So I'm just going ahead to clean up the model, right? just clean up the model. All right, so usually you want to clean your model to ensure that you have things in place, right? So I'll push this to this point, then I'll just double click that, double click that. All right, so it seems when I oh my I think when I was using the eraser, I used the hide, right? So be careful of that. So ensure that you have this, I don't know what color to be in your SketchUp board, so that when you erase things, it doesn't hide them, right? The red squiggle shows hide. So it's like if I do that, I'm just going to hide it. But when I use this one, it deletes it, right? So I didn't even mean to hide that, right? So I'll push pull that, then I'll push pull that. I think that's why it made that smooth, that other side smooth, right? So I think I have basically gotten out the basic shape. All right. So if you took note from the elevation, you find out that this side goes all the way, side goes all the way up. So I don't necessarily have to do anything there. All right. This one just goes to this first level, and then yeah, I think that's basically that. So I just go ahead and puncture the window holes. All right. So the total height of these whole things, there are different ways to do this, right? So one of the things you need to know is that the height of your door is 2100 by default, right? And your windows will come down the height of your door, right? So if you look here, your door, wow, right? So these doors are about 2400, and the reason it's 2400 is because of this extra uh, space here, right? So your average door height is 1, right? So let me just quickly look at that. 1. So if I come to this elevation, you can almost see, let me look, right? All right. So though that there is an extra vent there, I don't think that's where your window height will start from. Okay, it seems that's where your window height will probably start from. Right, let me see. I'm looking for something. Is there a window? There is no window here. Right. Okay, so what will happen there is, since we don't have a window and they say that window height is 2.4, we'll start it from 2.4. Let's just unify everything, right? So what this means now is, but generally speaking, if your door height was 2.1, you start from 2.1, but since they're using 2.4 as their door height here, that's what we'll do. So we'll go 2.4 all the way high up there. Then I'll take my line tool and I will just draw this, and then I'll push pull that to close, right? See that? That's for my door height. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that for all this, right? It's kind of tedious work, but that's why it's modeling, right? So I'm just going to duplicate this. Like, I'm going to copy that, drop that right there. And I'm just going to copy that and drop that right there as well. So where else do I need it? I think that's all for now because it's the same thickness, right? So I'm just going ahead and push pull that, push it pull, all right, push pull, then I'll clean that up. Usually I'll just wait and clean it up afterwards, right? So I'll do the same thing for here. I'll put this up till I get to the door height, which is 2.4. Then I will draw the line, then I would just take that and duplicate it, or I just redraw the line everywhere I need it, right? So where else do I need it? I need it here, right? I need it there. So I'm just gonna push that out, push that out, push that out, and I push this. Right, so you see how I'm just quickly closing up, right? So here I can see this door here is going to be same height to 1. Sorry, I don't think that up, so I'll just do 2.1 for this internal door, reason for that because that window, that whole gap thing above it will not be necessary in the inside, right? So I'll do that for the internal doors. For the internal doors will be 2 1, then the external doors will be wait, right? As the external door there. Okay, both internal door and external door. So let's leave everything. Let's leave everything in that height. So I did this to 2 1. So I'm just gonna make that to 4 by pushing it by 300. So let's unify everything, right? Let's do that. Let's do that. All right. Let everything be done in orderly manner. Right. So that should be that. I think I'm looking at that plan. This door here, this door here. Okay, there's door on both sides. So that means um right. Right. So don't mind me, I'm just applying anything applicable to get my work done. Right. So I'll do that. So I'm just trying to show you how dynamic you can be with some things like pull that. I'm just showing how dynamic you can be. I have to push pull that. Right. So you don't constrain your mind. Right. Most of the times I do show you things like that is so that you can easily um, navigate. Right. So I noticed something. I'll come and correct this later, but let's just keep going. Right. So there should be a height distance from this point to this point, right? I don't know if they measured that for us. So what we'll do, because this very window, it doesn't start from the very ground. It starts from some height up. So I'm just going to measure some distance from here, push it up by, let's say 400 or 500. I'll do that by 500, right? Then I would go ahead and look for, if I see the dimensions somewhere, then I'll take that. Right, so I've gotten the top part of the door, of the doors and the windows, right? So the next thing now is, let me just first of all clean this. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and clean that up, right? So we don't need those lines coming out. Those are like extra piece of geometry. Right, so clean that up, clean up time. All right, so clean up your model, very important for uh, now. The times we'll draw this line is when we need to do some texturing and we need special lines through for some special paint or stuff like that. Then we can go ahead and draw these lines because it enable us to easily paint wherever or whatsoever we need to paint, right? So so. All right, so we're seeing our model is already taking shape, already having a house, right? It's pretty simple and neat stuff, right? So the next thing now is the window heights, right? So this door is already set. These doors are set. We just need to put it in the door when we model them, which we'll do after the, making the general shape of the building, right? So the next thing now is the height of these windows in question, right? So this first window is like, let's go to our building plan and look at our schedule, right? So this window here is 1900, right? This is, I love this schedule. It gives us the height of the window. All right, this is 19, this is 900, this is 19. So practically all the window is 19, and okay, this is 1500 height, and this is 19. Wow, so this window is different. Wow, this is window 4. Okay, this window for room for the dining is different from this window. Yeah, that's true. I think we can even see that in this thing. This is the back. No, not that back. This is the side. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The dining window is different from these ones, right? The window is different from those ones. All right. So taking note of that. So this one is 19. This is 900 comes down. This is 19. So this is the only one that's 15. So 900, 19, 15. All right. So this comes down by 19. That's for this window right here. That's part of the window we model. So I'm just going to push pull this up. Yeah, this goes down from this top by one by 900 actually. So that means I will push this up till it gets to this point. And then this one comes down by 1.9 as well. Quite a big window. Wow, that's a lot. That's the size of window. Right, so that's 1900 from the top down. So I'm just gonna measure that. That's a really big window. Oh, is that accurate? That window is quite big. Let me see that. It's actually that big. All right. So same thing here. And then this one goes down by 1.5. Right. So I'm just gonna measure the 1.5 and then I'll send this guy up. Right. Then this guy comes down by what? I think that should be, let's see. All right. 1.9 as well. So it's the same sliding window as the other one. So we'll take that down from there. All right, see how we measure windows from up, it goes down. All right, so that's that. All right, so we've gotten the general shape of windows and all the likes. So let's go ahead and clean that up. Go ahead and clean that up. And get rid of your guides as well. Clean it up from the outside, you clean it up from the inside. Very important stuff to do. All right, so this is not needed. That goes, that goes, that goes, that goes, that goes, that goes. All right, and then this goes as well. All right, so generally speaking, you can see I've gotten out the shape of the room, the doors, the window. So what we could just do now is, if we had done modeling the windows and doors, we just put them in and fix them up, right? Very simple and straightforward. All right, so the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to proceed to the next floor. All right, so you see push pulling them is really simple and straightforward stuff. All right, but before I proceed to the next floor, let me get rid of my guides. I'll delete guides, but then I'll hide this. That's the ground floor, then I'll hide that. You know, turn on my first floor, right? So quickly you can notice we know the walls, so I'm going ahead and go push pull. But before I do that, I need to know what's the height of the walls on that level, right? So I can tell that averagely it's the same height, the same wall height averagely, right? So here there's a pergola up here. So that's that pergola there that we see in the image. Yeah, that's the pergola that they're giving us the height of that to be 275. But the general height from this point is 3,150. So it's the same height, right? So we'll go with the same height. All right, so take that up by 3,150, right? Then we'll do that for all the walls. Do that for all the walls. Do that for all the walls, right? Do that for all the walls. When you allow the wall flow, it makes it easy for you to push pull them up. Right, so we know the height of the doors. The height of the doors are 2.4, so 2.4 for the door height. Then from there we'll now bring down the window. All right, so let's see. For this is almost the door height, so let's say we can use the door height for this window, right? So say that's the door height, right? So we'll leave that there. No, that's not accurate. For yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and line that up. Then I'll take that face and copy it and paste it there. And then I see if there's any other place I need it. I need it here. Same door height. I need it here as well. And whereas I think I need it in the axis, other place. All right. So I measure the door height, which is 2.4 again, and then I do my line. All right. So it took a while of modeling to come up with these cut styles, right? Okay, so where else do I need that? Need that there. All right, so I need that here as well. I think I will need this here as well. All right, where else do I need that? Okay, for now, let me just go ahead and push pull that. All right, send that all the way through to where it should go. I do that for here, I do that for here, I do that for there as well. I do that for there, I do that for here. Then for this point, I did measure this line, but I have not drawn that. So I'll do that, then I'll push that through. Then for this point, there is a door here. So that's a line from that point. Then I push pull. Then from this point as well, there's a door here as well. Yeah, there's a door here. And there's a door here. Right? So I'm just going to push pull that to that point, push pull that to that point. Then as well, I do have to measure this point, door height. Don't forget, an average door height is 2.1, but we're using 2.4 here for that door because I don't think they show this different. Oh, that's the wrong part. Right, I'll draw this out here, and let me just draw this along this axis coming there. Then I'll draw this line up. Right, so I'll delete this, and then push pull this. All right, so I've gotten the general door point. Then the next thing is to measure down the height of the window. All right, so I'll do everything as ones. So that's 1.9 for these ones. So I'll push pull that. Yeah, I give it the same. All right, so this window is 900 because that's a toilet window. That goes 900 up, down, come 900 downwards. So I'll push pull this same distance for that. And for this window, I'm just gonna leave this for now. So, all right, that was weird. Okay, so I'll save that. From this point, I could go ahead and start doing my cleanup, right? So I'll just quickly clean up all the excess lines that I don't need. Ensure that I clean up from inside and I clean up from outside, right? Don't forget to quickly undo when you delete stuff you're not supposed to. Oh, wow, I missed that point. All right, clean that, clean that. All right. All right. Okay. All right. So we can see how we are just quickly progressing. All right. So let's see. In the next video, I would record, I would go ahead and model all through, model all the assets. All right. So like I did say, oh my God. Right. So I noticed that there was an I on my, there's an I sign on my eraser. So I had just only hidden some of the lines, right? I didn't really clean, I didn't really get rid of them all. So like they are hidden, right? Some lines are hidden, some are deleted, right? So I just want to ensure that I'm deleting those lines. I just want to ensure I'm deleting those lines, right? So there, right? Ensure I'm deleting those lines. Very important stuff. All right. So I just make sure that I'm not having that hide, that I too, right? Very important stuff. All right. So that other, this thing that's showing you is like the other piece of geometry, which is the ground, right? Showing you all the hidden stuff that you can unhide. All right, so that's when you click the Alt with the erase out button. All right, so like with that, you can quickly see, you can neatly begin to see and notice that um, you can begin to notice that your model is going to take shape. All right, look at that. I missed that. Take that out. And begin to notice that your model is going to take shape and it's already looking like something beautiful. The visualization part of your model is going to come into play, right? So the next thing that we want to do now is to go into modeling the floors, right? So if we now, I usually separate the floor and the roof. So one of the things I would do now is I would do that separation now. I separate the floors and the walls, sorry. So I'll go ahead and make this a group, make group, right? So this is going to be called the floor. And this is important when you have flooring materials separate from the walls, right? So I'll call these walls. That's wall, right? So with that, I can hide the floor, the walls, and I could also show the floor. All right, so I'm just going to keep the floor hidden there. And on this ground, I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm just going to do the same thing. So first of all, I would select the floor and hide, hide it, and make group. I call this floor, and then I'll select this and I'll call this walls. Make group, and this is walls. I just called out the thing. Okay, I'll call this thing a profile for now. A profile, right? Then I'll leave that. All right. So what I'm just going to do now is I'm going ahead to place these floors where they belong. So I'm just going to pick up the first floor, then I pick the move tool and move it from somewhere. We get to this steep part, all right? So you see, it's beginning to look like what we're dealing with, all right? But before I progress with that, I need to make the thickness of the wall, all right? So if you remember, this is 31 by 31, that's the height. 31 here, 31 here. But there is a thickness, a floor thickness of 1,000, sorry, 150 for each floor. All right, and then we have, so I'm just going to do the same thickness for the ground floor and the same thickness for the first floor, the bottom for the ceiling, the top for the floor. All right, so what I'll do here is for the first floor, I will hide that. On the ground floor, I'm just going to go ahead and draw a compassing stuff, and then I'm going to pull it out by 150, right? Then I'll just go ahead and group this and call it ground. I'll call it ground, right? I'm just going to put that in ground floor. Right, then I'll come to my first floor and then I will draw an all encompassing box like so. Then I will just pull that by 150 down. Then I think for this part, I would rect that out and push that out, right? Cut it off. All right, so you see my thickness is there. And I'll just call this ground. I'll make this group and I'll call it ground again. Ground, or because the bottom will be the ceiling and the top will be the floor. So what I could do is I could come inside of it, right? And delete, but I won't do that now, right? So everything I want to do, I'll just leave it for when it is needed. I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to cut out this part, right? I'm just going to cut out this part to this wall and then cut out this part because I want that thickness there. So I'll pull that all the way through, right? To cut the hole through it. All right. So now remaining the thickness along the wall. All right, so if you check the picture, you find out, let's see the picture. Let's see how this goes. All right, so this wall remains there. So that means I won't cut that through. I won't allow it to cut. So I'll just leave that like so. All right, so that's that. So we can see that going on there. So one of the things I could still do with the ground, let me bring it into the first floor. One of the things I could still do with the ground is to, when I have that, I click on the top of it and I delete it because I wouldn't want the top of it to be collapsing with the floor, right? So I have it as separate layers. Why is so that in a case whereby I would want to, in a case whereby I would want to uh, sectionalize it, that's in terms of making it into different rooms, having different floors for the sake of interior rendering, or maybe for the sake of producing a top-down plan that is realistic. I could want to make this place separate. So this room, this place flooring material could be separate from the other place flooring material. So I could just ensure I use my line like so. And under materials, I could just come and see how I can separate this room from this area. So that's one of the reasons you want to have those things separate, right? That's why you want, one of the reasons you want to have them separate. All right. So that being said, the floor there is different, and I would do the same thing, but I'm not going to go ahead and do everything at once. I'll do it as the need arrives, right? So that you learn from the process and not just happen to see things before time and not really understand why we are doing it. So that being said, you can see this plan here is set. So I can just go ahead and unhide this. Then I say I need to make an adjustment. I'll move this up like so. And like that, I have that there. Now I can come back here now and do some fixing here. All right, so obviously I will need to do something here about this. So I'll push this up to it lines up at this level, right? Then this one as well, I'll come in because I didn't want to adjust this before, but I say let me leave it till this point. All right, so the thickness of this is like 150. Thickness of this is what? 150 as well. So I'm just going to push it down. I'm just going to move it down. Select this face and I'll select this face. I'll move it down by that same 150 to this point so that it's something like this, right? Yeah, so it's something like this. That's just exactly what we want going on there, right? See that? Just exactly what we want going on there. All right, so there's a level of stuff going down there. So obviously this comes down a little bit more to this dog level, thereabout, just a little bit, comes down a little bit more. But if you notice when I modeled it with the thickness of the floor, right? So what I could do there is, right, so they didn't give me a dimension. Okay, let me see if I have that dimension, right? So that's 150. There's no dimension for that, so I will just have to assume that, right? So this is there's a distance between this point and this point. So we know it's three this thing, and this is, so that means this will be around 450 thereabout, right? This will be around 450. So but without that dimension, I could just assume stuff. For this, let me come to this wall, and then I'm just gonna measure like let's say 450 downwards, and then I would draw that out by, right, let me ensure that it's being measured from this point 450, and I'll draw this line in what, draw this line in like so. I'll do another one coming in by 150. So I just want to have that thickness going on there, and then the same thing for this other point. I'll just come to this ground and I'll hide this profile so I can see what's going on here. And I'll do the same thing here, 150 and 450. I could just do this and I'll just pull that out. and push pull this out as well. All right, so with that, if I look at this, I can tell it all goes. All right. So okay, so this looks like one piece of object molded into this. So let's look at our model, right? Does it look that way? Not necessarily, but during rendering it could look that way. All right, so I could decide to shift this inward while this comes up. There are different things to do there, right? So but the main thing is when you get to the rendering point, let the stuff look as should. Right, so what I could do here is let me select this piece of geometry. I'm just going to push this in. Let's use this line here and push it in by 150. Right, push it in by 150. I get rid of all the excess stuff going on right there. All right, so that was the former floor at that point. So for this place now, I'm just going to go ahead and cover that and push it up right there so that it looks neat, right? That just looks neat. All right, so you can see we've gotten our carcass almost set. We've gotten our carcass almost set, right? We've gotten our carcass almost set. So everything is already looking as should look. This should also go through. I think, let me hide this profile. This point as well. This point as well. Should, oh, not part of the wall. Oh, that's serious. Another side right there. So if I should draw this line, right, then I push pull down, right, just to ensure that I close up all the way. Close up all the way. Wow, you can even see that this doesn't really meet here, so I'll fix that. Right. So. All right, so these are just the basic technical things that you can meet up when you are doing your modeling and stuff like that. So you can see how we're already having a carcass of the building looking neat, clean, stuff like that. So the next part we're going to go ahead to do is the roof. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that in the next video. So we're going to deal with the roof. All right, we'll look at the roof plan. We'll look at what the roof looks like. It's fairly simple and straightforward, right? Yeah. So we'll do the roof in the next video. Then we'll go ahead from the following video to start modeling the extra fixtures in the building. All right, so you'd quickly begin to understand that the whole thing is not really complex or complicated, right? So, oh, I think I might have overlooked this. So if I should turn on the profile, I should come here and make some adjustment here. So I need to push pull this to go in, touch that wall, right? So what I would do is, okay, so I would draw this line here, right, and push it out to this point. Right, so yeah, from the next one we'll go ahead and model the roof. The roof, when we're done with the roof, we'll go ahead and begin to we're going to begin to start modeling the windows, model all the windows. I think I'll just use one video. I model on the windows, I model all the doors, and then we'll go ahead and fix in all the doors in the whole building, right? And then from there we're just going to go ahead and start dealing with the exterior. So we're going to do the site plan. We're going to try to prepare an environment. We're going to try to prepare an environment. All right, so but the main point there is I just want us to finish modeling the architectural plan. All right, so when we're done with this, you could go ahead and start doing some practicals. You could model practically any building you find. Of course, this is a regular shape, but The same principle applies to all other shapes, right? So I'll do this now, and let's get to the next video. All right, thank you so much for your time, and please do like, subscribe, share where you need to. All right, so bye and catch you in the next one.